G'day everybody, Wumptus here. Just thought I would create a very quick and dirty build with me, Ultimate Doom Builder, how to kind of guide just for beginners, something that people can jump into, build along with. You can actually, have Ultimate Doom Builder open as you watch this video and follow the steps that I'm doing. And at the end of it, you'll have a perfectly functional, fairly simple map that you can call your very own, and you'll have learned some of the basics in the meantime. In future videos, if people are interested, I might go back onto this map and then expand and build out and explain some sort of deeper concepts about mapping and how to make it look good and all that kind of stuff. But let me know if that's something that you guys would like. So in this one, I'm going to assume that you've already set up your Ultimate Doom Builder. We're going to build in UDMF today. If there's interest in MBF 21 down the track, I might look at building a guide in that, but I'm not very familiar with it myself, so I'll be learning as I go. But yeah, I assume that you've got your iWAD set up and all the basics are done. You've got your testing executable set up on Ultimate Doom Builder. If you haven't, there's lots of guides out there that can help you with that. And I might pop a couple of links down in the description that you can refer to if you need to get to that stage. I'll also assume you have very basic concepts of how a Doom map might be structured. You might have heard the word sector or line def before. If not, you can learn as you sort of go. But let's just hook straight into it, and we're going to start by building bare bones, and then we're going to test it, and then we're going to expand on that and then test and expand and test until we've got our full map done. So I'm going to start by using line def mode. So that's L shortcut. I'm going to come down to zoom in a little bit here. I'm going to hit insert anywhere on here just to start drawing my line defs. I'm going to go 256 across, 256 down, 256 across, and then close the square up. And we're going to make our very first square. And this is what's called a sector, if you don't know. And just very quickly, we can hit Q, and we can see what that looks like in 3D mode. So it's already got some height to it and all that kind of stuff. You can move around in 3D mode with ESDF if you haven't used it much before. You can use your mouse to sort of fly about. I'm going to hit Q again, jump back out here. And I'm going to hold down space and then just drag the mouse. And that's going to slide it up a little bit. You can look around nice and easily that way. And I'm going to draw some more line defs to build some more sectors. So I'm going to come 64 in here, so that's 32, 64. I'm going to hit insert. I'm going to come up 256, click, and go across 128, click, down 256, and then close it up again. And we're going to do this 2 more times to build 2 more sectors. So from this corner here, this is called a vertex or a vertice. We're going to hit insert, go across 64, go up 256, 256 across, 256, 64, 128. Just close that off. And then one more, 64 units down from this top right corner, hit insert, we're going to go 128 across, 64 down, 128, 64. And we'll just quickly have a look at that, hitting Q once again. Q will land you wherever your cursor is pointing in 3D mode. So here it is. Here's what's probably going to be our entry room. Here's a little corridor, secondary room, and what's going to be hopefully a little exit cabinet. Great. I'm going to hit Q again, back out here. And the only other thing I want to add to this is a start and an exit, because we just want to make a functional map, bare bones. So I'm going to, in line def mode, you can just hit L if you've swapped out of it for some reason to get back into it. I'm going to hold my mouse over this particular line def here, right click it, and won't worry about all of this information right now. The only thing that we want is the action section and this little list button here to browse the actions. And all I want to do is find end. So I can either search for it in here, there it is there, or I can start typing END, and the one that I want here is end normal 243. Hit OK, and I want to make this button active when player presses use, and hit OK. And what we've done there is we've effectively made a switch on this wall that will end the map when it's pressed. And going into 3D mode still looks like a plain wall. We'll put a texture in later that makes it a switch properly. The only other thing I want to add right now, down here back at the start room, is a player start. So I'm going to press T to get into things mode, which is all of your items and weapons and monsters and everything that's an object in a map. And while in thing mode, I'm going to press insert, and it's going to insert a new thing for us. And the one that we want is under player starts, but we can also just start typing in player 1 start. Okay, it's already facing up, but I'm going to so I can change the angle here if I wanted to change which way that it's that the player will start facing when they spawn into the map. So that's our very first map made. We're going to save it. Save it as first map. Let that load. And we're going to test it. So F9 is the shortcut to test. I'm going to hit F9 and we'll have a look at what it looks like. Here we are, inside our very first map. We can come through this corridor, come over to this invisible switch, hit it, and it ends the map. So going to quit out of Doom, back out into here, and that's all well and good, but let's add some extra bits and pieces here. I'd like to make some doors to separate these rooms, and I'd like to make this switch look a little bit nicer, so let's do that. We'll start with this switch. So I'm in 3D mode. You can do this in either 2D with the line def selection chosen, or in 3D mode, which is often better because you can actually visually see the changes. We're going to change this texture into something new. So I've right clicked on it. I'm going to choose the front side def. And we're going to go to this middle section here. So there's top, middle, bottom, and for now we're going to talk about middle. Click into that, and it's going to show you all of your textures that you can choose from. And we're just going to go into Doom 2. In this case, I've got some extras loaded up. And going to type SW1 and just pick something that's fine. SW1 Brown 2. Hit OK. There we go, we've popped a switch in. That'll automatically change to the lit version when it's pressed. So next thing I'm going to do is build a few doors. So I'm back in 2D mode. On line def mode, I'm just going to build some more boxes. So I'm building one up along here, across 16, down, and closing it off. And I'm going to do two more. I'm going to do one just in here. You see I'm insetting it a little bit, 16 in this case, 16 units. Across, down, and back. And same thing here, across, down, back. Now, having a look at these line defs, you'll see there's a little notch that's pointing one direction. The direction the notch is pointing is considered the front of the line def, and the other side is considered the back. In a lot of cases, not all cases, but in a lot of cases, you want the front side to be pointing to whichever side the player will interact with, especially in the case of things like switches and doors. Sometimes they won't activate unless they're the correct way around. So the way to do that is holding a mouse, holding the cursor over it and pressing F as the shortcut to flip those line defs. Doing the same with that one, doing the same with that one. And now we're going to turn these into doors. We can see here also that I've created these interim sectors, but this sector is sort of still joined to these other sort of edge bits. It's also the case up here. I don't like that when that happens. Some people might be fine with it, but it makes me feel nervous when I'm tinkering around with things. So I like to go through and use this Make Sectors Mode button here, or you can press M for shortcut, and turn them into distinct sectors like this. There we go. You can click it as many times as you want. It's not going to break it if you make a single sector. And that's just made them all distinct. Now the next thing I want to do is go into 3D mode, find those sectors. There's one here, finding them on the ceiling, and one here, clicking them with the left mouse button, and I want to drag down the mouse wheel to close them up. We can see that there's no textures on these, so we're going to create a texture. We're going to right click on this one. This is where it is. It's the upper texture, or the upper side def. So the middle side def is what we would consider in between this upper one, and if we slide this up, this lower one here. So in this case we're going to be playing with the upper side def. So I'm going to right click on that, choose this, and then go door to narrow it down to all the doors. And we've got a door here, big door 2, 128 by 128. That's going to fit nicely into this sector here. And what I'm going to do here is press Ctrl C to copy this texture. And I've bound my paste button to my middle mouse wheel because I use it so often. And I'm just going to click on each of these empty door textures and fill them in with those. Pressing C to make sure I don't have anything selected anymore. Now this one I'm going to change into a different type of door, the exit door. Going to find it in here. Here it is, exit door. You see it's got like textures for the sides and everything as well. We don't really need to worry about that so much. Going to hit OK. And we can see, I'm just going to put it on the other side as well, that this one's a little bit shorter, so it's not going all the way up to the top. So what I'm going to do with that is click here and click here, and I want to drag these down to about here, just so it looks tidy. And I'm just Control C and then middle mouse button to paste here. And I'm going to press Control A over here just to realign those textures. It's going to just line all the textures of the same type up for us in the region. One other thing I like to do is change the texture of the underside of the door. So right clicking here, going surfaces, up to the ceiling surface, and just find something in flats that's nice and neutral. Maybe this crate top texture. That's perfectly fine. Control C, I'm going to come underneath each of these other doors here, there and there, and change them as well. Next thing to consider is if we open these doors, these side defs, these line defs here, sorry, they're going to move with the door because they are currently pegged to the ceiling. And what we need to do to fix that is to select each of these. Actually, we'll pull this one up as well. Same thing here. Selecting each of these, select, 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 select. I'm going to press L for the shortcut to unpeg those textures. And now, if we move this up and down, we'll see that it doesn't slide anymore. One other thing that's good practice to do is to grab those same side defs and right click, change its texture to something that looks like a support beam or something. There's actually door track, which is the standard in your texture files for Doom 2. And then I'm going to grab these three, and just as a quick shortcut, I'm going to just press page down to move the ceiling to the floor. Now we nearly have functional doors. There's one last thing to do, and that's going to be select each of these line defs once again, and then right click, go into properties, action, browse action, just like before with the end switch, and we're going to go to door, and there's going to be a bunch of doors here. We're going to use door raise. It's the one that I like to do. There's also door generic. I fully encourage you to play around with all these different ones and see what they do. Door raise is my go-to. And that's going to raise the door, wait a while, and then close it, just like most doors in Doom and Doom 2. So once we've done that, you'll see there's a few little variables here that we need to change. Sector tag, we can leave as 0. If sector tag is 0 on a door in UDMF, it will assume that the sector behind the line def that you've tagged, this is where those flipped line defs come into play as well, is the door that you want to open. So it's going to assume that that sector behind this door here is the door. Going to change the movement speed to normal, and close delay is Doom default. You can make it take forever or never if you want to in here. I would like to make that happen whenever the player presses use. It's going to open the door. And very important, I want to make these repeatable actions so that if the door opens and then closes, it can be opened again. I'm going to hit OK. And then we'll test it. We'll hit F9, jump into the game. Here we are. Let's open this door. That works nicely. All these line defs, all these side defs are not sliding up with the doors. Perfect. And we can end our map. One thing that I just noticed there is that when we changed the height of the sector here, it's moved this texture down, so we can't see the switch anymore. So I'm going to click on that sector, that side def, and press the up button, hold it down until I can see it nicely. Just going to tap it individually to bump it up so it's nicely lined up on the floor. And that's once again fine. Great. So now we have a perfectly functional map with a start and a finish and a few obstacles in the form of doors. But I want to make it a little bit more complex than that. So a couple of things that I'd like to do. First thing, I'd like to go to my exit door, select each side. I don't want people to be able to go through it just yet, so I'm going to right click it and I'm going to go to this lock number section here, hit that button, go down to red keycard and hit OK. And now this door is going to only be openable if you have a red keycard in your inventory. To signpost that this door can't be opened normally, I'd like to put some little indicator, lights or textures to either side of it. To do that, we're going to go back in 2D mode, zoom in a little bit here, and I'm going to press V to go into vertex mode, and I'm going to add a vertex, one on this side here, that's 16 units up, one on the bottom side. I'm right clicking to add those into the line def. You can hold down right mouse button and slide them up and down. You can build by right clicking and dragging like this if you wanted to. But in this case, all I want is those little line defs here split up like this. I'm going to press Q once again to go back into visual mode. I'm going to select either side of those where these new split line defs are. Right click on it, front, go into our textures, and I'm going to find the key texture in Doom for the red key. There it is, door red. Hit OK, OK. There, now that's nicely signposted. We now know that that is a red door. So what are we going to do about that? We're going to need a key in here. So going to go back in 2D mode, going to press T to get into thing mode and right click up here. And I'm going to type up the top here, red, just to filter it down. There's red key card. Clicking OK, and now we have a red key card in there. Let's give it a quick test. It's always good to test often because then you can catch things before they all build up. So coming through here, need a red card to open the door. Here's a red card, let's grab it. Great. We can now press the button and leave. Beautiful. So now that we've made our doors, let's make some threats. So we're going to add in a couple of enemies. So we're still in thing mode. I'm going to right click up the top here and I'm going to go into monsters. I'd like to put a couple of imps in to start. So just down here there's imp. You can also use the filter. Filter is very powerful if you know what you want So make sure you get used to using that. And we can see here that there's a little chevron or arrow pointing up. That means that that's the direction that the imp is faced. So I'm going to right click on him and I'm going to hit the angle to face down and hit OK on that little compass. And that's changed the direction that he's looking. Now I want to add 3 or 4 imps, and I can do that just by going Control C and then Control V, Control V, Control V. Maybe not that many. Maybe I'll just have 3 imps in here. And let's add another threat in here as well. Let's add a shotgun guy. So that's a sergeant, former sergeant. There it is. Hit OK. He's facing down, so he'll see the player when this door is opened. And to give the player a fighting chance, let's put a shotgun in as well. So I've right clicked here, and in this case it's dropped down what I last made, which is a shotgun guy. And if I right click on this shotgun guy again, I can then edit him and change him into whatever I want. In this case I'm going to go shotgun. And I'm going to right click next to it, and I'm going to type in the filter here, shells. I want to put some shotgun shells here, hit OK, Control C, Control V, just slide it up to where I want it to be. Now through this door, there is a shotgun, there's a danger, and then there's more dangers further on. So there we go, we can see it all there. Now I want to play with the light levels a little bit in this sector here because it's a little bit bright. I'd like it to actually be a bit darker to feel a little bit, make it feel like there's a bit of contrast in the map. So I'm going to press T to get rid of all the things. It just hides them away for us so we can work with the sectors. And I'm just going to left click on the floor of this sector. I'm going to hold down Control and slide my mouse wheel down till my brightness down the bottom left there is about 128. That's nice and dark without being, too hard to see everything. I'm going to press T 2 more times just to bring up these things in their hitboxes again. And this key, that's perfectly fine, but it's pretty pointless having it right next to the door here. So I'd like to actually put the key somewhere else. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to build a little outdoor area to this side of our map. And to do that, I'm going to actually start in this middle spot here, this corridor, because I want there to be a window to this outdoor area so that as the player walks through, they can look out the window and they will see a red key outside, so it gives them a little bit of foreshadowing. So I'm going to hit L, going to line def mode, and just 16 units in from this door. I'm going to start building. I'm going to build out 16 all the way up to here, and then in 16, and then back down to close it off. And then I'm going to build another sector, and this one's going to be a bit larger. I'm going to hit insert on this corner here. I'm going to come down and I'm going to follow the room that we've already got here all the way up to here, to just past it. I'm going to go out to about 192 maybe. Might go a little bit less than that. I might go 176. I'll try and stay on these on the blue lines. I'm going to come all the way up to flush with this sector and build in here, and then come all the way down here, back over here, select this corner here, and then close off our new shape. And that's made a whole new big sector out here. And what I'd like to do is I would like to make it a little bit longer, so it's a tiny bit bigger. And I'm going to do that by mousing over this line def, right clicking, and dragging it out 2 more notches on the map grid. So a quick look at how that is. There we go. See, it's a bit tight even still. Maybe I'll go another 2. Sometimes it just goes a little bit off kilter. Just have to grab it a bit closer to the vertexes there sometimes. Okay, I think that's fine. But I don't want this to be an open area. I want this to be a window. So I'm going to grab this bottom part of this sector here, go with my mouse wheel, slide up 4 times, and then on the top I'm going to slide down to I think about here, so it's 64 high up here. And I'm going to hit Control C and paste with my middle mouse button, and same on the bottom, just to change the textures. And I'm going to hold my mouse down, put my mouse cursor on this line diff here, on this side diff here, and I'm going to press Control A to align all those textures so it's all lined up nicely. It's a really powerful, quick quality of life tool is pressing Control A. Anytime you're done with an area, it's always good to go through it and just hit that button, hit Control A, make sure everything's nicely aligned. Now outside here, I'd like to do the same thing, Control A again. And I want to add some height to this level because height makes things more interesting. So I'm going to actually grab this entire sector out here. I'm going to knock it down about 64 units, just like that. Just so when we're looking out here, it's actually, there's a bit of height there. I'm going to raise that brightness back up. So putting my mouse over this sector, holding down Control, mouse wheel up. I'm going to make this full 256 brightness because it's going to be outside. What I'd like to do with the ceiling, right click on that, surfaces, this is the ceiling surface, click on that. I'm going to find f_sky1, and that's going to be the sky. Editing your own custom skies and things like that is something you can absolutely do, but it's a little bit more involved, and I might talk about that in a later video if people are interested. So we've now got an outdoor area, but we'd like to make a way to get to it. So I'm going to make a door through here, and to do that I'm going to go into vertex mode, and I'm actually going to build out a little section here. So just right clicking on the line to add a new vertex where I'm clicking, and then I'm holding it, the right mouse button down, and just dragging it around to put it in the place that I want it to be. So I want it to be out a little bit so we can build a little door jamb thing, and then I'm going to make a few sectors here to make some stairs going down. So all of that's going to happen in line def mode. So I've hit L for line def mode. I'm putting my first vertex here, pressing insert, dragging down 64, 16 in. Same again here. This one's the actual door. That's the door jamb. And this is the door jamb on the exterior. And then I'm going to continue by building out here. I'm going to build a little sort of railing thing, just 64 units up, I think, 16 deep. I'm going to go back here, close it off, and I'm going to close this sector off. This is going to be a little balcony here, and then I'm going to make maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 stairs. So those are our little steps. There are other ways to make steps. There's a stair builder mode, things like that, but it's a little bit more involved, and we might touch on that later on. For the time being, you can just build them like this, nice and easy. So now we have a way out here. I'm going to pull these ceilings down a little bit. Going to pull this middle one all the way down so I can see where 64 is using that little marker. And I'm going to pull the other two down so it's flush with that, because I'm going to put a door in here, but it's only going to be a little door. One other shortcut that's good to know, if you mouse over a single side def or whatever, you can hold down Control and right click, and it'll get you straight into the texture section for that relevant side def that you've hit. So I'm going to go to all the doors, and I might use this door 1 here, 64 by 72 high. There we go. So I'm actually going to put that up just one more notch on either side here, just to make sure that it looks flush. Good. Control C here, paste there, Control A to align those textures, paste there, Control A, align those textures, And then I'm going to grab all of these sectors that I've built here, and then mouse wheel up, going to put it flush with the exit way. This little railing here, I'm going to put up another 2 notches. And I'm actually going to use this floor texture, Control C, on these walls just as to mix it up a tiny little bit. This is something you can only do in UDMF. If you use other modes, such as MBF 21, you can't put flats or floor textures on walls and vice versa. So to fill those blank ones in, I've just held down Shift and I've pasted, and it just does a flood paste on all textures of the same type. And then I'm going to hit Control A just to align all those textures of the same type as well. And then we're just going to pop these ones down 1 notch each, like this. Just mouse over, then mouse wheel down, mouse over, mouse wheel down, mouse over, mouse wheel down. Looks like I need another couple sectors, so back in 2D mode, L, insert, up, insert, click, click, right click. Let's see what 2 more do. Putting that up 1. Good, that's done it. Control C, just going to click each of these, pasting individually. Shift paste for that one, and then Control A once again just to make sure it's all aligned. Great. So now we've got some stairs down, and I'm just going to choose these 2 doors, right click on that, go into properties here, actions, make sure that they're actually doors, door raise. I'm going to make it go normal speed, Doom default close delay, player presses use, repeatable action, hit OK, and there we go. Now we've got a door leading outside that can be opened and closed, and we can come down some stairs. I'm going to go into 2D mode, and I'm going to come up to the top left here, draw ellipse mode, select that. I'm going to draw a pedestal here, and I'm going to hit left mouse button to start drawing. I have it set, if you see up the top there, to radial drawing. You can change that around. You might have it set as non-radial, and this is how it goes. It makes it build from the top left, or from the point that you click at. But I like to go radial so I can know where the center is at all times, and I want it to sort of be flush with where this center of this window is. So I want it to be here. I'm going to go out 64 and down as well. So this is 64 by 64. One thing you can do, if you hold down Control, you can make the circle more spiky, changes the spikiness. Another thing you can do, hold down Shift and mouse up and down. That increases or decreases the amount of side defs you have on your circle. And I'm going to pop that in. That's plenty fine. Don't need it to be too smooth, otherwise it can start looking a little bit funny. Great. And what I want to do, back into things mode by pressing T. I'm going to right click and drag this key onto this little pedestal. I'm going to go Q for 3D mode, visual mode. I'm going to select that pedestal, and I'm going to use a mouse wheel up so it's 64 high, so it's out of reach. And I'm going to hold down Shift and left click just to select all the missing textures here, and then right click, front, lower, side def, because it's the one that came from underneath. And just going to choose a suitable texture, maybe the bronze texture, bronze 1. Control A. You see that because this is a circle and it's not perfectly, the correct amount of units wide, when we've aligned them all, it's come up to a point where it can't align it smoothly. So sometimes you might just want to put that somewhere to the back where people don't notice it. You can also use your left and right mouse button to try and hide it a little bit. It's not usually worth worrying too much about that. Doom's fairly forgiving. Excellent. That'll do nicely. So we'll have a quick play of this, have a look at how it goes, and then we'll come back in and do some other finishing touches. So hitting F9 just to give it a test. There's our enemy. Kill him. You can see that there's a key outside there. Some more threats. We can go out this door. There we go. I haven't worked on those little door tracks yet, but we can come outside, and we can't yet get the key to exit the map. Great. And we haven't done this side def correctly, so we'll have a look at that too. Going to quit out of here. This is why it's really good to play test really often, because there's always things that you miss. So what we have here, we don't have a flipped line def, so we can't use the door on this side because it's trying to hit the back of this line def. So I'm just going to hit F, and that'll fix that up. And then the other thing that we're going to do is pop beneath it, slide that up a little bit, grab that texture, pop it there, slide this up a little, Control C, grab that texture, slide that back down using the mouse wheel. Middle mouse button for me to paste those two textures in. Close the door back up. Oops, no. Press L on that side, press L on that side to make sure those line defs are unpegged. Close it up. That's fixed up that door, and now it should be perfectly fine. So we're nearly done with our map. There's just a couple more things I want to do. I want to get a switch somewhere so we can lower this pedestal, and I want to make this outdoor area look a little bit nicer and be a bit more interesting. So first of all, this floor texture, I'm going to right click that, click on the floor, go down to my flats here and find, see if there's grass. There we go, grass 2. Hit OK. We just change that to grass. I'd actually like this section here to be like a little veranda-y spot, or have a little cover or alcove to it. So I'm going to pop back into 2D mode, and I might even make it go out about halfway here. Going to hit L, hit Insert, slide across, left click and then right click to close it off. And because this is going to be a little ceiling bit, I'd like to put some little pillars in either side just to make it look like it's being held up. So I'm just going to make a new sector here, or a new line def, so hit Insert, then come up 32, click, come across 32, right click. Same on the other side, up 32, across 32. And because these are going to be pillars that go from the floor to the ceiling, I'm just going to hit Delete and just close them out so they're not actual sectors anymore. And if we have a look here, we can see that we've got the beginning of some nice pillars. And what we want to do here is grab all of this up the top. And to do that, I've just clicked this one to separate all of the sky from that side with the sky on this side. And then I'm going to shift click the other bits that I haven't chosen yet, and it'll just fill in the rest of what I haven't chosen. I'm going to slide this down 2 notches. You'll see something interesting here. It's kept the sky texture. We're going to use that in a second in another area, but I don't want that for here. So I'm going to right click this, choose a different texture, and I'm going to do this ceiling 5_2. It's a nice generic one. Hit OK, and then that's shown up that top bit there. I'm going to shift click to choose all the untextured bits here, right click, go into here and choose our bronze 1. You'll notice here that all the textures that we've already used are now shown at the start of our textures, and they're lit up in blue instead of the black text. It's a nice little quality of life thing to find what you're missing. And so that's pasted this texture on the back of this one. It's just the way it goes sometimes. I don't like that, but I'm going to keep it how it is. But I'm just going to do Control C and middle mouse button there. just to clear that up. I'm not going to bother about removing it from the other side def. Perfectly. Oh, actually maybe I will, because it's shown up on the middle side def there. So I'm going to right click that, hit the minus just to go to no texture, and that's cleared it up. I'm going to hit Control A here. That's going to even out all of these. That's our pillars, and I want this area to be a bit darker as well. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to select all of these. I actually have a button bound called I think it's Flood Select or Paint Select. I hold it down and I just drag my mouse over without pressing any button on whatever I want to select, and it'll just select it for me. Highly recommend looking that up in the functions key bindings and binding that to something useful. Now I've selected all these floors. Now I've selected all these floors. I'm going to hold down Control, drag my mouse down a little bit to about 144 maybe, just to darken that up a little bit. Oh, and I actually don't want this section darkened up, so I've deselected by pressing C, and now I'm holding down Control and mouse wheel up to lighten that back up. So now we have a darkened alcove there. This texture is unaligned, so I'm just going to press Control A, realign that. I like that the door is a little bit brighter. It helps point it out, so if you're lost out here somehow, you can see that there's a bright door there to go to. And we want to add a switch. So I'm in line def mode. I'm going to build the switch just down here. I'm going to press insert to start building line defs. Go 64 by 16, 64 by 16, and back into 3D mode. I'm going to select that little rectangle, mouse wheel up to 64 high, and then I'm going to shift select that, shift left click, and then I'm going to right click, change the lower textures, going to make it the bronze one, and press C to unselect all that, and then just right click this single texture here, select that bottom one again. I'm going to find S1 brown, maybe this one here. And because this is a small texture, we're going to have to use the arrow keys. Sorry, it's a large texture on a small side def, using the arrow keys to find out where that switch is and just centering it there. Might put some nicer trim on the top here. Let's go into flats, maybe just this one here. While we're at it, I'm going to hit Control C on there. I'm going to do that for the window bit here as well, just to change it up a little bit, add a little bit of extra detail, a bit more interest. Okay, so we've got a switch here. This one's going to be using, this one's going to be lowering this this pedestal here. So I'm going to hit T to get rid of things. I'm going to choose this pedestal first, right click on it, and we're going to set it up so it can be triggered. To do that, we're going into properties. We're going to give it a tag number. Just going to make it 1 because we haven't used one yet. Now that we've done that, press C to deselect anything. I'm going to right click on this line def here, which is our switch. Going to go to properties. Under the actions, I'm going to find floor, if I can spell it right, lower, and we want lower to nearest floor in this case. When the player presses use, this one doesn't have to be repeatable because we only want it to happen once. We'll keep the speed at normal. You can make it come down slow or fast if you want. Hit OK. And of course, and just going back into there with a right click, we want to put the sector tag on this and set that sector tag to 1. Hit OK. And now it's associated with that sector over there. Easy way to see it is to just hold your mouse over the line def in question. Great. That's all well and good, but I want this to be a bit more of a threatening experience here. So I want to build a little trap into this encounter. And to do that, I'm actually going to build out further from this little wall. So I'm going to go 16 units out here, all the way across here, follow along, and then come to here, and then just close that shape out. And I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to go out maybe 96 units here, somewhere about here, up to there again, and close that one out. And I'm actually going to build two more of these, and I'll explain why in a second. So I'm going to put one more 64 units out, and then another one just 32. And if we have a little look here, I've got a larger area now. And what I want to do with this larger area is raise this second last one up 64 units. So it's a little bit of a raised fence area. And then I'm going to put this one up flush with it. But I'm going to pull down this bit of ceiling here all the way down to flush with the floor. And that's going to give us that nice continuing sky off into the distance. And then I'm going to hit Control C here, shift click on this missing texture, Control A just to make sure everything's lined up. Good. And the other thing I want to do is grab this innermost sector, slide it all the way up. You can also press page up to make it instantly flush with the roof. I'm going to grab this texture, shift click it on both sides to make sure that there's texture everywhere. Even though the player probably won't see this side, it's good practice to do. Good. And now on this sector, I want to right click it, and I also want to give it the tag of 1. And that's a tag that's going to be affected by this switch as well. It's also going to lower it to the nearest floor. So when the player switches that switch, the red key is going to come down, but this entire wall is also going to come down. And behind it, we're going to add some more threats. So I'm going to go back into 2D mode, going to go into Things mode by pressing T, going to right click here, going to find a monster, and I would like to put some demons in down here. Going to choose one, I'm going to hit Control C, Control V, and another one down here, Control V. If you can't get it in a good enough spot, you can just zoom in and your grid size will adapt to how close in you are. The other thing I want to do is have some imps up the top here as little sort of turrets. So they're up off the ground, they're a little bit higher, and they can shoot at the player without sort of needing to get close. So that's all hiding behind there. And just to give the player a little treat, we're going to go into Things again, right click, find a medikit in case they get hurt, pop it down there, and maybe in this other corner here we might go box of shells. There we go. So there's some little extra bits and pieces there for the player. Alright, let's give it a test and see what it looks like. Right, there's our first shotgun guy. We can see there's a nice little outdoor area. Haven't aligned that texture nicely, we'll fix that up shortly. Kill some of these impies. Pop back out here. This should still work even without the thing being aligned. There's a nice dangerous trap that the player can trigger when they're trying to get to the exit. Great. Let's have a quick look at the exit. That's still looking fine. Great. Let's fix up those last couple little things and then we can wrap it up. So, oh, that's interesting. This switch texture seems correct on here. So I'm not sure what's going on there. So let's just change it to another switch texture. SW1. We'll just go with this one here. We know it works on the other one. Pop it like that. We'll test that in a second. Great. Couple of other little things that I might do while I'm here is just some little trim just to make things look a little bit tidier. So each of these door jamb things, I might change its texture to door stop maybe. Just helps the look and feel of it all. I'm going to hit Control C on this and put it on the ceiling here as well. And along here, you'll see it's gone one direction when we want it the other way. I'm going to put my mouse cursor next to this line def down here and hit Control A, and that'll realign it with respect to that line def there. Same here. And then that one's fine. One other little quality of life thing I would do is pop this down and this up, maybe 1 or 2 notches. We'll go with 2. We'll do the same out here. This just gives the these door jambs a bit more of a 3D feel to them and makes it feel a little bit nicer. And we can just add some step textures to this. Let's go step 1 will be fine. I don't like step 1 actually. Let's go step 2. Cool. We'll just stick it on the top as well. Why not? There we go, there we go. That down the bottom. Might change this texture just to make it look a little bit different. Just do anything, any old thing. Let's go. Maybe one of these ones. That'll do. Just to make it look different. Pop the step down there. Don't need a step on this side. Excellent. One other thing. This looked a little bit funny coming down to be flush with the grass. But I don't want to make this grass as well because it's weird to have a pedestal with grass at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little lip around this, and the same with around this wall that comes down. So I'm going to start with the wall, just 16 units out. Going to make a little trim here. Might even do it on the other side. There we go. And I'm going to select each of those and just bring it up 1 notch using the mouse wheel. And I'm going to choose for the surface this ceiling one. It's nice and generic and easy. I'm going to put it on the walls as well here. Once again, you can't do that using MBF21. This is UDMF only. I'll make this floor texture, that brown one as well, and same with this one. And what I might do for this one is go into sector mode by pressing S, select that entire sector, and then press L to go into line def mode. And we're going to use the stair builder mode of all things, Control Shift F for the shortcut, or just click this button here. And it's going to let us build some stairs, but what we're actually going to do is effectively build a single step that's just coming out from this. We're going to make it 16 units deep, and we want it to be single steps, not split up, and we can keep it like that. We can, if we really want to, we can make them distinct sectors as well, and then it just makes little wedges. Really good for aligning textures, which I'll show in a later video. But for this one, this is perfectly fine. Then I'm going to hit OK, and that's made a nice little sector in between there with a nice distance of 16 all around. I'm going to bring that up one little notch, Control C, paste to that, Shift paste it there, and we've lost our brown texture there, so I just copied it from the pillar, put it back on there. Let's play this one last time and see how it looks. Before that, I want to put this texture on these ones as well. There we go. Let's see how our map looks. Okay, we've got some nice trim there. Switch looks like it's a little bit nicer now. The only thing I didn't do is realign this room, so I would do that once I back out as well. So got some nice little trim here, got some health and ammo, got a switch to press, brings that down, brings these down. There's our little threat, little trap. Great, back out we go, to the exit, finish it up. There you go, you've made a complete map, start to finish. Very small, but you know, it's no less detailed and complete than, you know, Doom 1's E1M1. You know, it's got a start, it's got a finish, it's got some doors, it's got a nice little outside area, it's got a trap that gets sprung, it's got, you know, a door lock, everything you could possibly need for a standard Doom map. It's got different light levels. One thing we could add quickly here, we'll align that as well, is maybe we right click on this one, go into properties, sector effects, and we're just going to choose maybe one of these light strobes. There we go, and that'll just make this room sort of glow up and down as well. And that's pretty much all you need to make complete, nice, winding, large Doom maps. And if this was useful to you, I'd be happy to continue it on, and we can build on this map, make it nice and large, and add some nice extra detail, and go through some sort of mapping concepts as well. Let me know if that'd be of any interest to anybody. All right, happy mapping.